I have a box. Let's open said box. Aha! Paper with things on it, which I don't want the camera to see. And the thing itself, very nice. Yeah, so the reason I went for this choice is because out of all of them, it was just the most interesting one. It's got the most detail on it, and it looks the most fun to paint, which is, generally speaking, that's how I choose models, not really based on any other reason. Effectively what this is 3D colouring in, and I accept that. It's something that I've always found has helped me unwind after a long day of work, as there's only so many pictures of other people's sandwiches you can scroll through, and there's only so many videos of Yoda screaming that I can watch. Actually, no, I take that back. There's an infinite amount of times I can watch that video. Again, that is a very nice little box. This is exclusive to Warhammer Plus, so if you don't have a Warhammer Plus subscription, you can't really get hold of these unless you just, I suppose, buy it from someone selling it outside the subscription. But yeah, I think I don't think it's Warhammer Plus gets a lot of flack, and I feel like, considering how much it costs, which for me was £50 for a year, it's not really that bad. Like, I have spent way more than that on. I think I've spent more than that on lunch before. Yeah, pretty sure I have. So, I'm not really worried about 50 quid, and I do get a lot of joy out of this stuff, so for me it's worth it. Go, simple instructions. They've packaged that a lot nicer than normal. I'm now going to cut this out of all of its sprues and do a bit of filing, which I think we can fast forward through. So I gave it a quick spray up, and now he is done. So he looks pretty good, detail wise already. The camera's not going to pick this up, but I'll try and get it. There we go. I am by no means an expert painter, but I do have little ways of doing things. I start off with the white base coat, because if I want it to be a bright colour, like this character here is going to be mostly red, it's better to have a white base coat, as that will make it a lot brighter than if I was to use, say, black. Also means I can use contrast paints, and that makes things a lot easier too. Then the next step for me is to take any area where I'm going to add the metallic bits that I want a solid black back for, and I'll go and paint those black before I paint over them in the chrome colour that I'm going to use, or in this case, Army Painter's Evil Chrome. I always try and keep the painting side of things fairly simple, as I know my limits, so I tend to have all of the paint pots in order of how I'm going to paint it, usually starting with trim details first that I know aren't going to be that affected by the contrast paint I'm going to put on, and then I add on the other bits later. I use a myriad of different paints from both Citadel and Army Painter, so here's a picture of all the stuff I've used if you want to copy this. Like I said, I'm far from being an expert painter, so you'll probably do a better job than me, but I found these colours worked quite nicely. I didn't follow the box all of the way. I used it to have it basically like a base to work off of, but there are a few things that I changed because I prefer them to be a certain way. Like, for example, I didn't want the skulls to be gold because I don't know, I think they look better white to me, or in this case pallid bone, so more of a natural colour than just gold. A few hours of painting later and I was finished. This thing was easy to put together, and well, I wouldn't say that easy to paint. It did take me quite a long time, but I did enjoy the process, and the end result is quite nice. I really enjoy the level of detail that's been put into the design on this model, and it's really something that I would aspire to, although I would say my style was probably a bit less gothic than Games Workshop's tends to be. But I really like how every inch of this character just screams over the top and evil. It's such a brilliant bad guy piece, and it was a lot of fun to paint as well. Also, out of the two models that were available in the year that I selected this, in quotation marks, free miniature, it was between this guy or some lad from Twilight, so the choice was very easy. I did have a little look to see what the lore was behind this character, and basically there isn't really any. It's just this here is a World Eater Terminator based off of a White Dwarf cover, which is from 1995. That is from before I was born. So the design for this model is very, very old in concept. This character has been a lot of fun to put together and paint, and has also been a lot of fun to make this video. It's been nice and relaxing for a change rather than a more complex and manic thing that I try to produce. So do let me know if you enjoyed this one and whether it's worth doing more things like it, as I do see, not going to call them competition, but a lot of channels out there seem to be doing, I'm not going to say they're all lazy, but lower effort videos, and maybe that is the way forward, and maybe I'm doing something wrong here. So let me know if you like this, or just leave me working away in the quiet abyss from whence I came from. I will continue regardless, so, you know, but feedback is nice. I normally end my videos by saying reverse shalom, which isn't an old meme from an English TV show. He's here. Shalom! Shalom! But due to recent world events, I might pause myself from doing that for the moment, as it might be slightly insensitive. So I'll just say goodbye, and I will see you very soon.